Good morning on this beautiful overnight sell-off Thursday. Those of you who are my friends know that I I just put a trade on because we got that device signal around here. As I hopped on, I just rode in with just a small starter position. But yeah, my friends know how frustrating this day is. I was super well positioned for this yesterday. I was looking for this move yesterday. You hate to say woulda, shoulda, coulda, especially with the market, but man, this should have happened yesterday, and it would have been my best payday of the year. So, alas, obviously, we're not living in the past today. So, um, we're gonna move forward with the warm up. I gotta make sure my audio and stuff is working. Let me just sign in to YouTube here, and as soon as all that is confirmed, we'll get going. Stand by, please. Okay, beautiful. So, yeah, so I'm late, had a haircut, probably can't tell, but let me just extend this a little bit so you can see my ugly mug. Very good. Okay. So my charts are still loading and everything. Like I said, I put a starter position on. I saw that we got a device signal, but like I said, the charts are not loading properly, so still waiting on that confirmation. I'm going to go ahead and give this an add here. And yeah, as soon as those charts confirm, we'll go from there. But we'll begin with this. So the fade trade, 39.28. That was the target. We got it, and here we are. So, um, man, yeah, I thought we were gonna do this yesterday. We didn't. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop dwelling on it. But it was we were close to what I like to call Valhalla yesterday in terms of a big victory. And so we'll play it today. So I think the main thing I need to get my bearings a little bit better here. But I think the main thing to look at today, just make sure. Yep, there. Sorry, I'm gonna put my stops on this, and then so I don't have to keep looking at it. So, please. My charge is still loading anyway. So no rush. I hope everybody's having a good morning. I don't see anybody in the chat here yet. If you are watching live, I encourage you to interact. This is kind of the purpose of these briefings versus those debriefs where I'm talking at you. We can interact and talk about all the cool stuff going on. Charts to load though. That'd be super helpful. Let's see. I'm just gonna put my stops in here, and we'll get started. $165 times 3. Okay, stops are in. Hopefully it won't be necessary. I expect us to continue to sell off. I need to get a better gauge of our volume profile. Again, my intraday chart's not moving, so I'm just gonna get started here. So let's look at the candles. A little macro chart here. Okay, so again, for this, real simple, I'm gonna add a bookmark here so we can just go straight to the routine trading page. So let's add this little bookmark. Get rid of. I like all of it. Okay. So let's look at our candles today. So I think we saw an interesting one there. I go through this document, so I've seen all of these obviously several times, but I do like to go through the document every day because sometimes you'll miss it. Like you'll go for an NA when it is in fact something. Already pass it again. Yeah, so it looks to me like we have yesterday, we kind of got that Harami. It was kind of it was an imperfect one, so I guess if we're being technical, we're gonna have to leave it out. But I like to give candlesticks. Let's look here. Yeah, I like to give candlesticks a little bit of leeway. I think we had that Harami type look. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark it on here. Purists, I'm sorry to offend you, but we're going with it. And anything else on that macro chart? So yeah, so obviously we did have that 3. So this is a nice little pattern here. We had that 3-1 and we're looking at a 2 today developing. So we had a 3 and today's is definitely going to be a 2 unless they turn it around. So looking at a 3-1-2 bearish reversal. So far, obviously anything can change. There's lots of day left. But for the warm up, that's what I'm seeing there. And I'm still waiting for everything to load. So I'm going to try this again. Okay. Keep moving forward until that does load. So overnight inventory obviously was down. It was, so let me look at our structural chart will work at least. Yeah, okay. So I don't have the other chart, but I do have the structure. So very clearly, net short, not 100% net short, but just your standard net short overnight inventory. The pivot bias is of course down. It's initiative. And you can look at, if you go to this document, you can just look at all the differences. You know, my little comments that explain. So if you hover over it, it'll tell you like what's initiative, what's structural, etc. We do not have a breakout box. Going back to my tick chart. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so my intraday chart is now loading. See what the profile looks like. Yeah, so I faded the top. So I'm currently have the 3960, 3985 short calls, just fading the top of the intraday profile. If we start breaking through, we'll look for the breakout trade, obviously. So in terms of daily pivot range, let's see. So 32, it's a slight expansion, but it's not anything particularly notable. So for pivots, we're not really going to glean anything substantial from those today. Then NA. VIX is really behaving weirdly today. So if you look at the volatility chart, I'm pretty sure we're red on the day. Yeah, we actually just went red on the day despite being down 42. And you saw this yesterday too. So if you're being devil's advocate and you're arguing with, hey Garrett, why are you so long, or excuse me, why are you so short yesterday when volatility is on a downtrend? Well, that's a very good argument, and you're seeing it again today. So I'm taking that short trade that we get here. Um, just because that's mechanical. But the volatility behavior is very, very strange. Super inexplicable to me. I'm going to be watching it all day. I expected to, when I glanced at that just now, to see at least green, but we are in fact red on the day there. So if I look at the chart, it's really sideways from yesterday. In terms of any type of pivot, contraction, or expansion. Let's see what we got going on here. So these are order flow lab pivots. This is not my stuff, proprietary, blah, 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 blah. So I can't really spend too long in this chart. I think the guys will give me a break. I'm just looking real quick here. But yeah, if you want to see those pretty tools, please feel free to use my affiliate link. And that's the plug of the day. Okay. So those are 30. In fact, those are actually expansive. So that is a 50% greater than that, obviously greater than 50% expansion, which just tells me that volatility is going to be a little bit all over the place today, which is good. If you're a bear, I think if we saw that trendy type look and with the down move here, I'd be a little more worried about that bounce. Obviously, we can still bounce, but if we look at the open, so let me just check that first 15-minute candle specifically, which we've already unwound that first 15-minute candle, so that's telling me this was definitely a choppy type of open, and it was in fact. Let me check the first 30 here. Open, chop. I'm calling it open auction, guys. You could argue it's either open rejection reverse or open auction, but I just feel like, especially if we come back through and tag the open again, you're just looking at a straight again with these. I was when I was ranting about my missed opportunity here to a couple friends. I was noting that if it's very strange. I think since these zero DTs became every single day, we're seeing a lot more of this choppy type tape during the day. It's pretty common. Most moves do occur overnight, so that has nothing to do with zero DT. But these opens are super choppy. We're seeing a lot more of this open auction, a lot less. So really, it's 1 in 5 days should be like these trendy type RTH sessions, and that's just not holding true. We're not seeing 20% of the time it's not trending. I don't think it is. So correct me if I'm wrong if you see this video and you feel differently. But yeah, this is really interesting. So we had that really strong initiative move overnight, no follow through. We open, we start chopping. So again, chop. I'm not even gonna call it bullish or bearish. I think it is just a straight neutral chop. We do have to give the bears a little bone here. They had that strong move overnight, so we'll call it a bearish open auction. But that's telling me that until we get that break below the overnight low and we get we until it holds, I'm not playing for that trend type of move. So these calls are working out nicely so far. In terms of our weekly balance, take another peek. So I think we have to. So so first of all, there's a lot of room in that profile, but regardless of that, I think we're gonna have to call it bearish until we do reclaim that. And you can use MAs. I can usually just tell by glancing at it. So yeah, the question is, does balance move down? Not really. So it's still 40.10, 39.60, we'll say. So it moved down a little bit. It did move down a little bit. So 39.60, 40.10 is our balance, and the TPO bias. So this goes to the chessboard chart. Let's take a peek. This one we can look at together. Our proprietary tools here. Put on my MGI though real quick. This is a OFL study, but it's just labeling like various value and stuff. Okay, so that'll be important for the newsletter. I'm gonna make a note of that we are. Sorry, my headphone turns off periodically. We are kind of consolidating around that prior week value area high. I need a new little notepad. So that's probably why we're chopping around. It makes a little more sense now. This was the target yesterday. Remember that 39.60 area was tested a bazillion times, and this was that first target. So make a note of prior week value area high. Obviously, all the singles and stuff in the profile. So I'm gonna analyze this profile a little bit more as I do the newsletter. So let's see here. So we got that prior week value area high. That's super important there. We got all these singles to clean up above. So let's merge this a little bit. So that poor high again. I'm gonna leave this one because I do want to keep that poor high on the board. So you can see we're OTF down on these TPO. Okay. The overnight is just super ugly. Those can act as potential resistances as we go and check them. And then in terms of just intraday here, we have a lot of space if they keep it going down. So we've taken out. Let's hide this MGI from the week. Month. So MGI aside, I think we're looking, if we start to continue lower, I think we're looking toward the mid 1800 area now, and probably a good test of this single. So I find that for the trades, it's better not to be too predictive on exact levels. You just kind of want to play those setups. So what I'm looking for now will be the current action is really nothing. It's just rotational. We're just kind of chopping around the POC. We're literally at the POC as I'm speaking. So I'll be looking for that setup 3, which is when we push below value. So today that's conveniently the IB low. So neither IB low nor IB high has been touched yet. I'm going to make a note of that. And if we do go below and touch that IB, did we touch the overnight low even? No, we haven't touched the ONL or ONH either. So remember the statistics in the newsletter, especially for the IB, it's about a 96% chance that we're going to touch one of them. So when that does happen, watch for the speed and aggression, watch for the retest of the bottom of that area. So 39.15 will say, watch for that retest and failure. If we fail, that's when I'm going to be putting on those long puts. Today, I am going to finance them with an in the money spread or at least some type of collar. I talked to my friend Ernie yesterday, and he was talking about how it makes sense to, fund those spreads. I think he was talking about a long call spread or a long put spread, but the idea is you're funding your risk a little bit. Yesterday, if I had an in the money spread or some sort of collar with those puts, especially the in the money spread, actually would have been a profitable day. So I lost about $3,000 on the puts alone. Obviously, everything else in the day I was able to make back 1,000, but those puts cost me 3. If I'd had the in the money spread, I would have actually been profitable in the position. So a good little thing to watch for there. But in any case, yeah, 39.15 is going to be that level I'm watching for that. So I'm gonna have to think a little bit here when we hop off how I want to fill out the this little bullet area here, and I'll also fill in the expected move, the intraday levels and stuff like that. It is pretty late in the day. I had a haircut, that's why I'm late. If you trade with me normally, I made sure you know. But yeah, that's why we're late with this video, and we'll get everything out to you as soon as possible. And if you are watching this, thank you. Please let me know what you think of these early morning briefings versus the evening sessions. Again, I think they're more applicable because we're looking at what's happening real time and we're not planning for the next day. Because with all these moves that tend to happen overnight, it's tough to plan for the next day, I think, and that's the point of these. They'll get more clean as time goes on. I'll put the relevant stuff in the bio if you want to see that stuff before I get it in, and you're like a new watcher or whatever. First of all, welcome and thank you. But yeah, I'll get those in the bio. But until then, you can see it in the old routine debrief videos. We'll clean it up. I'll get the newsletter out. Please subscribe to that if you don't already. That you get all the data in one fell swoop there. And yeah, so I'm already in my uniform, as you can tell. I'm not wearing the tie. As far as I'm concerned, as soon as I make that first trade, I'm in the game. So we will. I will send you the newsletter later. And yeah, until we speak again or until the next video, stay classy, everybody.